the assumption's always been that most advertisers, when they come to us, have got well-developed, well-designed websites, and I'm still amazed at how many people don't. That from an SEO point of view, how many sites are built in very search-unfriendly ways, and a lot of big design agencies I'd expect to know better. But it's ironic then that in answering to some of the questions, the very thing, when we talked about the search engine's business model and what it is that drives demand in the first place, it's interesting now that we're in a position where the very thing that stimulates demand for healthcare information and demand for other goods and services in other categories is also the very thing that can help you secure better inbound linking. The key to inbound linking is to go and trade collateral with external people who are in positions of authority or websites of authority to generate those back in. It's a very, very tricky area, and I'd advise anybody thinking about it to take good advice on this, because there are ways of getting it very badly wrong. So it's building it in a methodical way, and I'll talk a bit about this in a sec. But PR. Offline PR needs to join up better with online PR, and online PR needs to start focusing more on distributing that content online, specifically with a view to getting inbound links. I'll give you a good example now in terms of, this is a piece of business we work on, RIAS, over 50s insurance. And what we have here is a couple of examples of press releases that have gone out. And what we've managed to do with these press releases is actually anchor in a couple of links. But as Rick was saying earlier, the anchor text, rather than click here for more information, we've actually just put in over 50s. So what we're finding is that these inbound links now, coming from places of relative authority, inbound links back into the main website, results in a #1 natural search positioning for RIAS on over 50s insurance. So that's the kind of strategy, that's the kind of approach that people need to be taking. If you think about, effectively, Google's got 250 bits in their algorithm. Really, you can look at it this way. Sites that have high authority and sites that have a high propensity to want to link to your site. And normally there's an inverse relationship. High authority, you know, traditional publishers are never going to want to link to you in a million years. They understand the value of that. Sites with a high linkability could be, you know, my wife's blog or whatever, that, you know, you could get her to link to you quite easily, but quite frankly, would you want it? Probably not. But there's a very interesting dynamic going on in here, which is all of this conspires towards getting your search rankings better listed. I said earlier about getting your traditional PR and extending it. Most offline PR agencies will work with the online websites, but there's actually a middle ground that I think is very often forgotten about, which is how do you take these assets, this content, and how do you distribute it more widely to sites that have middling authority, but a slightly higher propensity to want to link to you. How you identify these, there are a number of products out there, but as a business we took an interest in a company called LinkDex that effectively reverse engineers Google and allows you to start flexibly looking at which sites are the ones that we want to link to. But also then we talked a bit about social media as well. Now social media from a linking point of view isn't especially interesting if you just get individual sites, but you start pulling 20,000 of these things together in an automated fashion, and all of a sudden you've got an awful lot of relatively low authority but very, very high linkability. So all of these areas, when you start to join them up, start to build out what we see as being very, very well structured, very well rounded natural search programs like we saw earlier with RIAS.